bud.
The axle! And easy, clean!
Too much weight! All right! Goodbye. Here, Shaw!
Place him in now, man!
All right, now hit that stake! Hattie! You don't stop, you understand? Hey! Yeah, you keep your no. It's bullshit. Human!
We work together, we can hurt him. I'll do the same.
Here comes the kryptonite.
I got it.
Turn my own system.
But here we are again. Come on! One life doesn't...
You made me kill you once.
Have all the technology in the world. No machine will ever...
An elite MI6 team is ambushed by cybernetically enhanced super soldier Brixton Lore, who steals a deadly programmable virus called Snowflake. Agent Hattie Shaw injects the virus into herself to prevent its dissemination and becomes a target, forcing her estranged brother, Deckard Shaw, and Luke Hobbs, two formidable adversaries, into an unlikely alliance to save her and the world from Brixton and the shadowy organization Etion.
That...
Now, type of guy!
On my three! Deckard Shaw. Yeah. It's 3 bullets. 2 to the chest, 1 to the...
Going for mine, running out of time. Put you in the earth, say prayers in the eyes, and I will fight for my cause. Time for some action.
You might want to... Might be time for some cows. Very good.
Long story. So go. Begin.
Shotgun. No. Don't start.
We're entering the drop zone.
You asshole!
Access denied. Access granted.
On it! Never fails. We're not out of this yet, Hattie.
Out the machine.
Let's leave at the station. Hold on!
Route to intercept. Thing is off. Let's say.
You trust me? I'll make it!
You're a one-of-a-kind war machine.
You can have your
Instant cargo plane. To where?
Too late for forget.
Back to the finer things, new goals, like another path to take. I don't know when I'm home, I'll be bringing on
When the chips about to fall and I walk the only place I know.
Samoa! Makaukou! Kualekawa! How long before the guns get back? Sure, bud.
The axle! And easy, clean!
Too much weight! All right! Goodbye.
Here, Shaw! Release him in now, man!
Right now, hit that stake! Hattie!
You don't got to understand? Face! Yeah, you keep your no.
It's bullshit.
Human! We work together, we can hurt him. I'll do the same.
Here comes the kryptonite.
I got it.
Turn my own system. But here we are again. Come on! One life doesn't... You made me kill you once.
Have all the technology in the world. No machine will ever...
It's a hell of a business.
But you three, you will.
And you're on.
Sidekick, that stupid look on your
Yeah?
face.
How about... All right.
Hermit had Miss Piggy.
That's a low blow. Don't...
I wanna go through time.
It looks out to the fifth, looks around and looks him with time.
Look at that cat.
Let's get out of...
Come on. It's good to be home, Musso.
God, I feel immediately better just talking in a secure asset vault, but we're deep insides. But this one, it's so gross. The point is...
Hey, Locke. This is Sam.
Sam, exactly like your dad.
Son,
I know, but I need to speak to
Lord, tell me you took care of the snowflake.
Keeper. Listen, hey, real talk?
Hey guys, today we're diving deep into the explosive, action-packed, and delightfully ridiculous world of Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. Get ready for a high-octane recap that spares no detail, from the bone-shattering fights to the gravity-defying stunts, and of course, the relentless bickering between our two titular heroes. This movie is pure, unadulterated popcorn entertainment, and we're going to break down every glorious moment. Before you head off, if you're enjoying the kind of content I make, please consider liking and subscribing. No pressure, but it truly helps me keep the action coming. Our story kicks off in a dimly lit, high-security Aetion facility tucked away in the heart of London. The air is thick with tension, a faint hum of unseen technology providing a constant low-level drone. Suddenly, the silence is shattered by the deafening crack of a breach. Alarms blare, a shrill, piercing wail that echoes through the sterile corridors, and my 6 agents, armed and ready, swarm the area, their boots pounding on the polished floor. Leading them is the sharp, no-nonsense Hattie Shaw, her eyes scanning every shadow, every potential threat. They're here to retrieve something incredibly dangerous, a bioweapon known as Snowflake, a programmable virus capable of wiping out humanity with frightening precision. Just as they think they have it contained, a menacing figure materializes from the shadows, an almost supernatural calm preceding his brutal assault. This is Brixton Lore, a man who moves with the terrifying efficiency of a machine because, well, he kind of is one. His body is a marvel of cybernetic enhancements, making him faster, stronger, and more durable than any human should ever be. He's wearing sleek, dark armor that seems to absorb light, and his presence alone sends shivers down your spine. The firefight erupts, gunshots ring out, each report a sharp metallic clang against the walls. But Brixton, seemingly impervious, barely flinches. He disarms agents with a flick of his wrist, sending their weapons skittering across the floor with a harsh clatter. Punches land with the sickening thud of bone against steel, and agents are sent flying as if struck by a truck. Hattie, quick-thinking and resourceful, realizes the weapon is about to fall into the wrong hands. In a desperate split-second decision that's either incredibly brave or incredibly reckless, she snatches the glowing vial containing the snowflake virus and with a grimace of determination, injects it into her own bloodstream. The needle glints under the emergency lights, a tiny but pivotal act. Brixton, furious, delivers a swift, brutal kick that sends her sprawling away. As she scrambles away, he makes it look like she betrayed her team, planting false evidence to frame her. The facility is left in chaos, a swirling vortex of smoke, alarms, and the dying groans of agents. Cut to Los Angeles, a stark contrast of sunny beaches and bustling city life. We meet Luke Hobbs, a man built like a granite statue carved by the gods themselves. He's in a boxing gym, the rhythmic thwack of his fists against a heavy bag filling the air. Each punch carries the force of a small earthquake, the bag swaying wildly with every impact. He's got that signature focused intensity, sweat beading on his brow, muscles bulging with effortless power. The man is a walking, talking tank. After a quick sparring session that looks more like a demolition derby, he gets a call from his old frenemy, the ever-suave CIA agent Locke, played by the endlessly sarcastic Ryan Reynolds. Locke, with his usual rapid-fire banter, delivers the grim news. A bioweapon is out there. Hattie Shaw is the prime suspect, and Hobbs is the only man tough enough to bring her in. He lays out the situation with a rapid-fire explanation that somehow makes global catastrophe sound like a minor inconvenience. Hobbs, ever the patriot, agrees, but with a palpable reluctance to work with anyone, let alone someone he doesn't know. Meanwhile, in a swanky London penthouse, Deckard Shaw is enjoying the finer things in life, a martini glass clinking delicately as he listens to a news report about the very incident Hobbs is now involved in. Shaw is all tailored suits and smooth movements, a refined predator with a dangerous edge. He's got that look about him, the kind that says he could disarm you with a smile or a headbutt, depending on his mood. He's contacted by his own handler who, with an air of exasperation, informs him that his sister, Hattie, is a rogue agent and has stolen a deadly virus. Shaw, clearly annoyed that his morning gin and tonic has been interrupted by family drama and global peril, also agrees to take the case, fueled by a mixture of concern for his sister and a healthy dose of professional pride. He's definitely not thrilled about the prospect of working with the brute that is Luke Hobbs, a sentiment he voices with a dismissive wave of his hand. It's almost comical how quickly these two alpha males are forced into proximity. The stage is set for an awkward, testosterone-fueled reunion. Hobbs and Shaw are brought together in a CIA black site, a sterile, utilitarian room designed to induce maximum discomfort. The tension is so thick you could cut it with a butter knife. The moment they clap eyes on each other, the verbal jabs begin, a rapid-fire volley of insults and thinly veiled threats. Hobbs, all brawn and blunt force, calls Shaw a tea-swilling, crumpet-eating limey. Shaw, sharp-toned and sophisticated, counters with digs about Hobbs' size and his apparent lack of intellectual depth. Their handlers try to get them to focus, reminding them of the world-ending stakes, but it's like herding cats, if the cats were also armed to the teeth and actively trying to one-up each other. It's glorious. They begrudgingly agree to work together, their mutual disdain almost an additional character in the room, constantly buzzing in the background. Their first lead takes them to a series of safe houses and informants, a shadowy network of global intelligence and illicit dealings. The pursuit begins with a frantic energy, the ticking clock of Hattie's injected virus adding an urgent, desperate pulse. Their intel leads them to a secluded warehouse on the outskirts of London, a desolate place where shadows stretch long and the wind whistles through broken panes of glass. It's the kind of place where bad guys gather, probably to monologue. Inside, they find Hattie, trying to lay low, her MI6 training evident in her guarded movements. The reunion is anything but warm and fuzzy. Hobbs bursts in like a battering ram, ready to apprehend her, while Shaw, with a more cautious approach, tries to assess the situation. Hattie, recognizing her brother but wary of Hobbs, immediately assumes they're there to arrest her. A brief but intense scuffle ensues, a flurry of precise blocks and swift counterattacks. Hattie, proving she's more than capable, matches their intensity. Just as things are getting truly heated, the concrete walls shudder with a terrifying rumble, and Brixton Lore makes his grand entrance, heralded by the screech of tires and the splintering of wood as he crashes through a wall on his futuristic motorcycle. Brixton, with his glowing eyes and smug confidence, is a truly formidable villain. He refers to himself as Black Superman, which, let's be honest, is a bit on the nose, but he earns it. He moves with a terrifying speed, a blur of motion as he engages all three of them simultaneously. The fight inside the warehouse is a brutal ballet of close-quarters combat. Hobbs unleashes a barrage of powerful punches, each one aimed at Brixton's seemingly impenetrable armor, eliciting only a metallic clang and a slight recoil. Shaw, with his agile, tactical fighting style, attempts to find weaknesses, darting in and out, landing precise kicks and strikes that would fell a lesser man. Hattie, using her MI6 training, contributes with sharp elbow strikes and knee jabs, proving she's not just a damsel in distress but a genuine asset. Brixton, however, is on another level. He predicts their moves, blocks their attacks with inhuman grace, and retaliates with devastating force, sending them flying with bone-jarring impacts. The sheer spectacle of Hobbs and Shaw, two seemingly unstoppable forces struggling against one man, is a testament to Brixton's enhanced abilities. The fight spills out into the streets of London, transforming a mundane urban landscape into a chaotic battlefield. Brixton's motorcycle, an engineering marvel, practically drives itself, complete with a terrifying array of offensive capabilities. He pursues them relentlessly, a dark, cybernetic specter. What follows is a truly epic car chase, a signature of the Fast and Furious franchise, but with a cybernetic twist. Hobbs, behind the wheel of a stolen high-performance car, expertly weaves through traffic, the engine roaring like a caged beast. Shaw, riding shotgun, provides a running commentary of sarcastic advice and tactical observations, much to Hobbs's annoyance. Hattie, in the back, tries to keep up with the plan while also trying not to have her head bashed in. The sounds are a symphony of destruction. Tires screeching on asphalt, metal scraping against metal, the deafening boom of minor explosions as Brixton's bike fires energy blasts, shattering windows and sending debris flying. They smash through market stalls, sending fruit and vegetables airborne in a colorful, messy explosion. They narrowly avoid double-decker buses, the sheer size of the vehicles creating a terrifying visual as they speed by. At one point, Hobbs performs a ridiculous but exhilarating maneuver, driving through a building rather than around it, the walls crumbling around them with a satisfying crash. It's utter chaos, perfectly choreographed. During a brief lull in the chase, Hattie reveals the grim truth. The virus is inside her, slowly replicating and altering her cells. If they don't extract it within a specific time frame, it will become irreversible, turning her into a biohazard or worse. The urgency of their mission skyrockets, shifting from mere apprehension to a desperate race against time. Shaw's protective instincts, previously buried under layers of cynicism, rise to the surface. His sister is dying, and he realizes this isn't just another job. Hobbs, too, sees the gravity of the situation, his gruff exterior momentarily softening with a flicker of concern. It's a moment that briefly unites the trio, transcending their differences for the sake of Hattie's life. They realize they need a specialist, someone who understands the virus and can develop a way to extract it. Hattie remembers the name of Professor Andreyko, the scientist who created Snowflake, now imprisoned in a high-security black site in Russia. Because, of course, the answer to all global crises is always locked away in a Russian prison. It's a trope that never gets old. Their next destination is Moscow, a city shrouded in a perpetual dramatic gray, adding to the inherent tension of their mission. Getting into a maximum security Russian prison to extract a brilliant, but probably eccentric scientist is no small feat. Hobbs, with his usual direct approach, tries to leverage his contacts, but even his connections are limited in this shadowy world. Shaw, however, has a network of his own, a maze of illicit contacts and old favors owed, cultivated during his less-than-legal past. He uses his refined charm and a surprising amount of ruthlessness to set up the rendezvous. The prison itself is a formidable fortress. High walls, barbed wire, motion sensors, the whole 9 yards. It's got that chilling, metallic feel, where every step echoes and surveillance cameras watch your every move. The plan they hatch is audacious, involving a controlled breach and a covert extraction. The prison break sequence is a masterclass in tension and precision. Shaw, with his surgical precision, infiltrates the outer perimeter, disabling cameras and guards with swift, silent movements. The whoosh of air as a guard drops, the soft thud as another is subdued, create a sense of stealthy dread. Hobbs, meanwhile, creates a diversion, A spectacular explosion at a far end of the facility, the crump of the blast rocking the very foundations of the prison. Alarms blare, spotlights sweep the yard, and guards scramble, creating the perfect window for Shaw to reach Andrejko's cell. Andrejko, played by Eddie Marsan, is exactly what you'd expect, a nervous, brilliant scientist more comfortable with petri dishes than prison bars. He's terrified, but intrigued by the prospect of freedom and the opportunity to fix his deadly creation. Shaw, with a mixture of threats and promises, extracts him. But of course, nothing goes smoothly. Brixton and his Etion forces, always one step ahead, intercept them. Another furious gunfight erupts, the cacophony of automatic gunfire echoing through the narrow prison corridors. Hobbs, having finished his diversion, barrels through the chaos, laying waste to Etion operatives with brutal efficiency. The sheer force of his blows send men flying, weapons clattering to the ground. Shaw and Hattie cover Andrejko, shielding him from the relentless onslaught. They manage to escape the prison by the skin of their teeth, leaving behind a trail of spent casings and thoroughly bewildered prison guards. Andrejko, once safely out, explains the grim reality. The virus isn't just replicating, it's embedding. To extract it, they need a specialized device, a kind of extractor that uses powerful magnetic fields and targeted radiation. And where is this device? Naturally, it's at Etion's main research facility, a massive, imposing black site nestled deep within the industrial heartland of Ukraine. This place screams villain lair, with its massive, reinforced concrete structures and an aura of clandestine operations. The air around it feels heavy, almost oppressive. Getting into this place is even more difficult than the Russian prison. This facility is bristling with security, armed guards patrolling, automated sentry guns, and advanced surveillance systems that would make even a seasoned spy sweat. R3, along with Andrejko, devise an incredibly risky plan. Hobbs decides on a frontal assault, creating a massive diversion with a heavy-duty transport vehicle, essentially using it as a battering ram to get inside. The crash of metal on concrete is deafening, a deliberate act of brute force that announces their arrival. Shaw, with his superior stealth and technical know-how, navigates the internal systems, trying to disable defenses and open pathways. Hattie, ever the pragmatic agent, works alongside him, coordinating their movements and providing tactical support.
The infiltration is a symphony of coordinated chaos. Hobbs, a one-man wrecking crew, barrels through waves of Etion guards. The thud, the fists, the crunch of bodies hitting walls, the clatter of discarded weapons. It's a visceral, no-holds-barred assault. He plows through multiple layers of security, absorbing blows that would pulverize ordinary men. Meanwhile, Shaw and Hattie are engaged in a more intricate dance, dodging laser grids, hacking into computer terminals, and neutralizing guards with swift, silent takedowns. The whir of automated turrets spinning to life, followed by the zap of energy blasts, adds another layer of danger. They communicate in clipped, urgent tones, their voices barely audible over the increasing sounds of battle. They locate the lab where the extractor device is kept, a high-tech chamber filled with blinking lights and whirring machinery. Just as they manage to retrieve the device, Brixton makes his reappearance, leading a squad of his enhanced shock troopers. Another brutal confrontation ensues. Andrejko, in a moment of panic and self-sacrifice, attempts to warn them about a trap, but is brutally gunned down by Brixton. His final breath is a gasp. A tragic end to the man who could have saved them all, making their task even harder. The loss of Andrejko is a punch to the gut, leaving them without their expert. They escape the collapsing facility, the roar of alarms and the whoosh of escaping air filling their ears, barely making it out alive with the crucial device in hand. Hattie's condition is deteriorating rapidly. The virus is accelerating, its microscopic tendrils weaving deeper into her very being. Time is running out. They realize they can't trust anyone. Governments, agencies, even their own shadows feel compromised by Etion's far-reaching influence. This shadowy organization, led by a mysterious figure known only by his voice, seems to be everywhere. They need a place off the grid, somewhere remote, somewhere they can be completely alone and safe, both from Etion and from any potential collateral damage if the extraction goes wrong. Hobbs, ever the strategist, floats an idea, a place Hobbs knows well, a place fiercely protected by family and tradition, Samoa. Hobbs' home. The mere mention of Samoa brings a complicated mix of emotions to Hobbs' usually stoic face. He's been estranged from his family for years, leaving a legacy of unspoken grievances and unresolved conflicts. Going back means facing them, facing his past. But with Hattie fading fast, he has no other choice. It's a desperate gamble, but it's their only one. The journey to Samoa is fraught with tension. Hattie is racked with pain, her body writhing in silent agony, the visual signs of the virus becoming more pronounced. The air in their makeshift transport is thick with worry and the rhythmic thrum of the engine. Shaw constantly checks on her, a genuine fear in his eyes, while Hobbs drives with a grim determination, his jaw set, preparing for the emotional confrontation awaiting him. They arrive in Samoa, not to the welcoming embrace of family, but to a wary, almost hostile reception. The island is beautiful, a verdant paradise of lush greenery and crashing waves, but the atmosphere is thick with unspoken history. Hobbs' family, particularly his formidable mother and his 3 imposing brothers, Jonah, Mateo, and Timo, are not easily swayed. There's a palpable friction, a tension born from years of absence, and a deep-seated resentment that Hobbs abandoned his family and their traditional way of life. The sound of waves gently lapping the shore is a stark contrast to the brewing storm within the family. Hobbs approaches his mother, a woman with eyes that could melt steel, but who also holds a deep love for her prodigal son. He explains the situation, the world-ending virus, his sister-in-arms, Hattie, dying before their eyes, the need for a powerful energy source to activate the extractor. It's not just a plea, it's a desperate confession, an admission of his own vulnerability. His mother, after a long, scrutinizing silence, agrees to help, but not without reminding him of his duty to family, to Aiga. Her words resonate with the weight of generations. His brothers, however, are a tougher sell. Jonah, the eldest, is particularly resistant, his face a mask of distrust and resentment. He challenges Hobbs, not just verbally, but physically, a brief, tense exchange of traditional Samoan warrior stances and challenging glares. The air crackles with unspoken aggression. Eventually, through a combination of Hobbs' stubborn determination and Shaw's surprisingly persuasive, if be it sarcastic, arguments, they reluctantly agreed to lend their support. It's a moment of begrudging acceptance, not quite forgiveness, but a vital step towards it. They're going to war, and the Hobbs family, for better or worse, stands together. The preparations for the inevitable showdown are incredible, a fascinating blend of ancient tradition and modern improvisation. The Hobbs family isn't just a group of tough guys, they're master craftsmen and warriors. They begin by rigging the entire island with ingenious traps and defenses. Imagine the whoosh of a sharpened bamboo spear being tested, the thump of a massive log swinging into place, the clatter of metal as they convert old car parts into makeshift armor. They gather whatever they can find, old engines, generators, scrap metal, even coconuts, and transform them into formidable weapons. Hobbs's brothers, with their impressive physical strength and innate understanding of their environment, work tirelessly. Jonah, the mechanic, takes charge of converting vehicles, turning them into armored, weaponized machines that look like they belong in a post-apocalyptic Mad Max film, complete with the roaring vroom of modified engines. Mateo and Timo, the fighters, lead the charge in setting up the traditional booby traps, each one designed to disorient, disable, or destroy an incoming enemy. The sound of their work fills the air, a symphony of hammering, grinding, and the occasional grunts of effort. Meanwhile, Hattie and Shaw are holed up in a makeshift lab, a hut powered by a jury-rigged generator, the whirring of its motor a constant backdrop. They meticulously work on the extractor device, trying to understand its complex mechanisms without Andrejko's guidance. The device itself is a marvel of advanced technology, glowing faintly with intricate lights. Shaw, with his surprising scientific acumen, reads through Andrejko's notes, a frantic search for clues. Hattie, despite her worsening condition, offers what little insight she has, her face pale but determined. They connect it to a massive, custom-built generator, hoping to provide the immense electrical charge needed for the extraction.
The air is thick with anticipation and dread. The ticking clock of Hattie's virus, a constant, silent pressure. They know Etion is coming, and they need to be ready. Just as they finalize their preparations, the first signs of Etion's arrival appear on the horizon. A menacing fleet of heavily armed vehicles and advanced drones cutting through the serene Samoan landscape. The whine of drone engines grows louder, cutting through the natural sounds of the island like a serrated knife. Brixton Lore, leading the charge from his command vehicle, broadcasts a chilling message, his voice distorted and amplified, echoing across the island. Surrender Hattie and the device, or face total annihilation. Hobbs's mother, standing tall and defiant, broadcasts back a powerful, traditional Samoan war cry, her voice resonating with ancient pride and defiance. It's a goosebump-inducing moment, a powerful declaration of war. The battle begins. Etion forces pour onto the island, a tide of technologically superior soldiers, their weapons spitting fire with rapid crack-crack-crack reports. But they are met with a furious, unyielding resistance. The Hobbs family, augmented by their friends and allies, unleash their ingenious traps. The ground explodes with concealed mines, sending Etion vehicles flipping with a deafening thud and scrape of metal. Sharpened bamboo stakes impale attackers. Swinging logs flatten entire squads, the crump of impact sickeningly effective. It's a testament to human ingenuity and the power of home field advantage. Hobbs, roaring like a primal beast, charges into the fray, a blur of muscle and righteous fury. He wields a massive, traditional Samoan war club, each swing delivering a crushing blow, the whoosh of air preceding the crunch of impact against Etion armor. He's a one-man wrecking crew, throwing enemies around like rag dolls, their shouts of pain echoing through the chaos. Shaw, ever the pragmatist, takes to the skies in a helicopter, modified by Jonah to be a flying fortress with Hattie strapped into the extraction device in the back. His mission is to provide air support and get Hattie to the precise location for the extraction without being shot down. The whop-whop-whop of the helicopter blades dominates the sky, a rhythmic heartbeat against the backdrop of explosions and gunfire. He skillfully maneuvers through a hail of Etion fire, the pang of bullets ricocheting off the chopper's reinforced chassis. Hattie, despite her increasing pain, monitors the device, her face etched with concentration. The visual spectacle is astounding. Ancestral fighting techniques clashing with futuristic technology. The sounds are a symphony of destruction, the thud of bare fists against cybernetic armor, the crack of gunfire, the roar of engines, the boom of explosions, and the distant rhythmic chanting of the Samoan warriors. It's exhilarating and terrifying at all once. Brixton, relentless, focuses his attention on Hobbs, knowing that defeating the patriarch will break the family's spirit. Their inevitable confrontation is a brutal extended hand-to-hand combat sequence. Brixton's cybernetic enhancements give him an undeniable edge. He moves with preternatural speed, his blows carrying the force of a hydraulic press, each punch landing with a sickening thwack. Hobbs, despite his colossal strength, finds himself outmatched in a...
Seeing Hobbs in peril, Shaw makes a crucial decision. He sets the helicopter down, quickly unstraps Hattie from the still-charging extractor, and rushes to his brother's aid. It's a moment of genuine camaraderie. The bickering finally set aside for the greater good. The two alpha males, finally united, face Brixton together. The final showdown is a tag team effort, a beautifully choreographed dance of contrasting fighting styles. Hobbs, with his raw power and unyielding resilience, acts as the immovable object, absorbing Brixton's heaviest blows and creating openings. Shaw, the agile and strategic force, darts around Brixton, exploiting his blind spots, landing precision strikes, and using his intelligence to anticipate Brixton's moves. They communicate without words, a series of glances and subtle movements, perfectly in sync. The sounds are a brutal symphony. The crack of bone, the thud of flesh against cybernetic plating, the grunts of effort and the enraged roars of Brixton. They manage to corner him, forcing him into a series of increasingly desperate maneuvers. In a climactic move, they combine their efforts. Hobbs delivers a crushing blow that stuns Brixton, sending him stumbling. Before he can recover, Shaw wraps a chain around Brixton's neck, anchoring him. Then, in a moment of sheer physical dominance, Hobbs grabs the other end, and they both pull, exerting immense force. The chain tightens,
Brixton struggles, his cybernetic enhancements sparking and whirring under the pressure. His systems start to glitch, his eyes flickering. He's outmatched. Just as they are about to deliver the final blow, Etion's shadowy leader, still only a disembodied voice, remotely deactivates Brixton. His systems shut down, and he collapses, his body finally failing. A small sigh of relief escapes the two heroes, but it's quickly replaced by the chilling realization that Etion is still out there, and their leader is watching. The fight may be over, but the war certainly isn't. The deafening silence after Brixton's fall is eerie, broken only by the sound of their heavy breathing. With Brixton defeated, the immediate threat is neutralized. They rush back to Hattie, who is now dangerously close to the point of no return. Shaw meticulously restarts the extraction sequence, the device humming to life with a soft whir. The tension is palpable as they watch the readouts, waiting for the virus to be expelled. After what feels like an eternity, a final intense burst of energy from the device, a faint pop, and a visible shimmer around Hattie's body confirms it. The snowflake virus has been successfully extracted. Hattie, exhausted but relieved, collapses into her brother's arms, saved by mere seconds. The relief that washes over Hobbs and Shaw is immense, a quiet exhale after a storm of chaos. The world, for now, is safe. In the aftermath, amidst the still smoking ruins and the quiet triumph, Hobbs has a long overdue, heartfelt conversation with his mother and brothers. He apologizes for his absence, for the years he spent away, acknowledging the pain he caused. His mother, with a gentle hand on his cheek, offers him a form of forgiveness, a quiet understanding passing between them. His brothers, particularly Jonah, who had been the most resistant, finally accept him back into the fold, a subtle nod and a shared knowing look signaling the reconciliation. The sounds of rebuilding already begin, the rhythm of hammering and calling echoing through the now peaceful island. It's a powerful moment of family reunion, of healing old wounds under the Samoan sun. Shaw, always one to make a grand exit, exchanges a final, begrudgingly respectful handshake with Hobbs. There's a newfound mutual respect, born from shared peril and a genuine understanding of each other's strengths. He takes Hattie, who is still recovering, but looks significantly better, and they fly off into the sunset, presumably for a much-needed vacation and a lifetime of brother-sister banter. But the story doesn't quite end there. In the first post-credits scene, we see Hobbs back in his office, getting another call from Locke, the perpetually sarcastic CIA agent. Locke tells him about a new, even more terrifying virus, one that's designed to make you slowly eat yourself from the inside out. Hobbs, with a weary sigh, grumbles about the never-ending parade of global threats, clearly wanting nothing more than a quiet day off. It's a classic comedic setup, hinting at future adventures. In another scene, Shaw, ever the prankster, gets his revenge on Hobbs for some earlier slight, by anonymously calling him and reporting his full name, Luke Hobbs, to local authorities, falsely claiming he's a child predator. The humor is in Hobbs' confused fury as police surround his vehicle, a perfectly executed bit of psychological warfare from Shaw. And then there's the delightful recurring appearance of Victor Locke, Ryan Reynolds' character, showing up unexpectedly, further cementing their bizarre friendship and hinting at a deeper connection within this universe. He's always good for a quick sardonic line that perfectly cuts through the lingering tension. These little snippets extend the fun, reminding us that even after saving the world, these characters just can't catch a break. This incredible ride of a movie really drove home the undeniable power of family, both the ones you're born into and the ones you choose along the way. It showed us that even the most stubborn, individualistic heroes can find strength and purpose in unity, learning to trust and rely on each other when the stakes are impossibly high. The movie beautifully balanced the epic scale of its action with intimate moments of character growth, reminding us that even in a world of super soldiers and global viruses, human connection remains our greatest weapon. Ultimately, Hobbs and Shaw is a bombastic, unapologetic thrill ride that completely delivers on its promise of over-the-top action and hilarious banter. It's a testament to the idea that sometimes all you need is a pair of charismatic leads, a world-ending threat, and an insatiable desire to push the boundaries of physics. It might just be the most fun you can have with a movie about saving the world.
Our story kicks off not with a gentle morning breeze, but with a full-throttle assault on a top-secret Ateon facility in London. MI6 agent Hattie Shaw, dressed in tactical gear, moves with a purpose. Her objective clear: retrieve a biological weapon dubbed Snowflake. The facility is a mess of flashing lights and alarms blaring, the metallic clang of boots echoing through sterile corridors as she navigates the chaos. She's quick, efficient, a whirlwind of controlled motion, breaching security with the silent grace of a seasoned operative. The tension is palpable, a tight knot in your stomach as she approaches the containment unit. Inside, a glowing vial, the very definition of a ticking time bomb. But just as her fingers brush against the cold glass, an unexpected element crashes the party, quite literally. Suddenly, a hulking, imposing figure, cloaked in black, descends from the ceiling like a particularly aggressive bat. This is Brixton Lore, a name that just screams bad guy. His entrance is anything but subtle, a crash of glass and metal, and the whoosh of his coat as he lands. He's got that classic villain vibe, all dark, menacing eyes and a voice that sounds like gravel being chewed. Brixton, as we soon learn, isn't just a tough guy. He's got cybernetic enhancements, making him faster, stronger, and seemingly impervious to bullets. Seriously, who needs a gym membership when you can just download an upgrade? He casually tosses around highly trained guards like they're ragdolls, each impact delivering a sickening crunch that makes you wince. Hattie, quick thinking as always, realizes the game has changed. With no other option, she smashes the vial and injects the snowflake virus into her own bloodstream, making herself the unwitting carrier and the most dangerous woman on the planet. Brixton, predictably, is not amused. The facility explodes into an even greater symphony of destruction, a cacophony of shattering glass and roaring flames as Hattie makes her escape, the entire scene leaving a trail of fire and unanswered questions. Cut to Los Angeles, a much sunnier and slightly less explosive affair where we find Luke Hobbs. He's not dodging bullets, but rather getting his daughter, Sam, ready for school. The contrast is stark, the domestic bliss a brief respite from the impending global catastrophe. Hobbs is a mountain of a man, even when he's just making pancakes, his voice a deep rumble that could probably vibrate loose fillings. He's all about family, discipline, and probably a well-balanced breakfast. He's got this intense fatherly gaze, a protective aura that hints at the powerhouse beneath the soft dad exterior. We see him lift weights, a truly impressive feat of strength, the grunts and groans of his exertion filling the air, before heading off to his DSS office, a federal agent through and through. His workspace is impeccably organized, unlike, I imagine, mine after a Monday morning. There's a quiet determination about him, a man of routine and principle. Meanwhile, across the pond in London, we meet Deckard Shaw. His life is a bit more refined, shall we say. He's in an underground fight club, not as a participant, but observing with a detached coolness, sipping on an espresso. His suit is sharp, his hair perfect, and his demeanor is pure, unadulterated suave. The sounds of fists hitting flesh, the roar of the crowd, the thud of bodies hitting the mat, it's all just background noise to his sophisticated morning. Shaw's got this elegant brutality about him, a dangerous intelligence lurking behind those piercing eyes. He's former MI6, now a mercenary with a moral compass that occasionally points towards whatever benefits me most, but he's undeniably effective. He's then called into a meeting, his handler explaining the situation with the stolen virus and the mysterious Ateon organization. The news of his sister Hattie's involvement hits him like a physical blow, a rare crack in his otherwise impenetrable facade. The gears in his mind begin to turn, a quiet clicking sound that signals impending chaos. Back in the US, Hobbs is getting the same briefing. His superior, a stern woman with an even sterner haircut, lays out the gravity of the situation. A deadly virus, an enhanced super soldier, and the world potentially going up in flames. Hobbs, ever the patriot, is ready to roll. But then comes the kicker. He has to work with Shaw. The collective groan from the audience is almost audible. Their previous encounters have been less than friendly, involving a lot of smashed cars and property damage and a generous sprinkling of insults. The two men are forced into an interrogation room, a sterile environment that quickly becomes a verbal boxing ring. Their initial exchange is a masterpiece of passive-aggressive bravado and thinly veiled threats. The room crackles with their animosity, each man trying to out-alpha the other. Hobbs, with his blunt force and sheer presence, tries to dominate. Shaw, with his sharp wit and cunning, parries every verbal jab. They trade insults about their fashion sense, their intelligence, their respective abilities, the air thick with their simmering hatred. It's truly a thing of beauty, a comedy of errors waiting to happen. "You got a mustache growing on your soul," Shaw quips, and Hobbs just glares, the muscle in his jaw twitching. It's clear they'd rather punch each other than cooperate, but the fate of the world, unfortunately, depends on their shaky alliance. The CIA intervenes, forcing the two reluctant heroes to team up. Their first order of business is to track down Hattie. Shaw, with his insider MI6 knowledge, quickly deduces her likely movements. They find her in a safe house, and the reunion is, shall we say, less than heartwarming. Hattie, exhausted and on edge, is startled by their sudden appearance. The moment Hobbs and Shaw lock eyes on her, a wave of relief, quickly followed by suspicion, washes over them. Shaw, ever the protective older brother, immediately starts questioning her, his tone laced with concern and a dash of his usual condescension. Hattie, meanwhile, is trying to explain the whole virus in my body predicament, but the boys are too busy bickering. Hobbs, seeing the distress in Hattie's eyes, cuts through their sibling squabble with a booming command, demanding answers. The dynamic shifts slightly, Hobbs becoming the pragmatic mediator. Hattie explains how Brixton isn't just some random thug, but a ghost from Shaw's past, a former colleague believed dead, now resurrected with cybernetic enhancements by the mysterious Iteon organization. The snowflake virus, she explains, is programmable, designed to target specific DNA, effectively wiping out chosen populations. The ticking clock in her own body adds an urgent, personal stakes to the global threat. They realize they need to extract the virus before it goes critical, which is easier said than done. No sooner do they formulate a flimsy plan than Brixton and his heavily armed goons crash the party. A massive car chase erupts through the streets of London, a symphony of screeching tires, smashing metal, and the roar of engines. Brixton, on his impossibly sleek, transforming motorcycle, is a blur of motion, effortlessly dodging traffic and performing gravity-defying stunts that make you wonder about the physics of this universe. He's got this super soldier thing down pat, zipping around like a video game character with infinite health. Hobbs is behind the wheel of a massive armored truck, plowing through obstacles with the grace of a rhino. Shaw, ever the strategist, is providing tactical advice and making sarcastic comments from the passenger seat, occasionally leaning out to take potshots with a precision handgun. The crack of gunfire fills the air, punctuated by the metallic screech of cars colliding and the guttural roars of Hobbs as he exerts himself. Buildings blur past, the city lights reflecting on the speeding vehicles. One particularly memorable moment involves Hobbs using his truck as a battering ram, reducing smaller cars to crumpled heaps of metal. Hattie, trapped in the back, is trying to keep her cool, occasionally yelling directions or a particularly sharp insult at her brother. It's pure, unadulterated chaos, the kind that makes you grip the edge of your seat and forget about the real world for a bit. The chase culminates in a spectacular crash, with Brixton seemingly disappearing into thin air after yet another impossible stunt, leaving our heroes to pick up the pieces and figure out their next move. The trio manages to escape the immediate threat, but they're now on the run, with Iteon and Brixton hot on their heels. They need information, and quickly. Shaw, remembering details from his past and Brixton's history, suggests they track down Professor Andraco, the scientist who developed Snowflake and apparently has the only device capable of extracting the virus from Hattie's bloodstream without killing her. Their journey takes them to Moscow, a city known for its beautiful architecture and apparently incredibly difficult to find rogue scientists. The mood is tense, the banter sharper, as the pressure of the ticking virus clock weighs heavily. Hobbs and Shaw continue their verbal sparring match, even as they work together. "You're like a poorly maintained tank," Shaw might say, only for Hobbs to retort, "And you're a porcelain doll with a tiny mustache." It's their love language, apparently.
They arrive in Moscow, navigating its crowded streets and bustling markets. The sounds of foreign languages and distant traffic a constant hum around them. Their intelligence leads them to a shady, underground black market, a den of whispers and illicit dealings. This place is a maze of dimly lit alleys and cramped stalls, selling everything from questionable tech to even more questionable information. They encounter a local contact, a nervous man who clearly prefers not to deal with two massive, angry agents. After a brief but firm negotiation, which might have involved Hobbs gently coercing the man with a glare that could melt steel, they get a lead.
Professor Andraco is supposedly dead. Shaw, however, refuses to believe it. He knows Brixton too well. Etion would rather capture than kill such a valuable asset. Their pursuit continues, their footsteps echoing through the grimy underpasses, the tension building with every step. Their persistence pays off. They find Professor Andraco, not dead, but held captive in a highly secure, almost futuristic Etion black site. The infiltration is a masterclass in contrasting styles. Hobbs goes for brute force, tearing through steel doors and smashing security cameras with his bare hands. The thump-thump smash of his movements a relentless rhythm. Shaw, meanwhile, uses stealth and cunning, bypassing security systems with a few deft key presses and disabling guards with silent takedowns, the whoosh of his movements barely disturbing the air. The crack of a neck, a muffled thud as a body drops, these are the only sounds accompanying his progress. They eventually converge on Andraco's location, a stark, technologically advanced room where the scientist is being interrogated. Andraco, a nervous wreck, is relieved but also terrified to see them. He confirms the virus's devastating potential and reveals that the extraction device he built is indeed the only solution. However, there's a catch, a big one. The device requires a unique activation key and a precise environment to operate, located at his secluded research facility in Chernobyl. Of course it is, because nothing is ever simple in these movies. He also mentions that Brixton plans to weaponize the virus, not just release it, but control its spread. This information adds a whole new layer of urgency, pushing the stakes even higher. The plan is set. Get Andraco, get the device, get to Chernobyl. Easy peasy, right? Their escape from the Etion monarch is, as expected, a destructive ballet of bullets and broken glass. Brixton, ever the persistent antagonist, shows up with an army of highly trained mercenaries, all clad in black with their automatic weapons spitting fire. The air is thick with the smell of gunpowder and burning metal. Hobbs is a human wrecking ball, shrugging off punches and returning them with bone-jarring force, the crack of his fists against helmets and body armor reverberating through the facility. Shaw, a whirlwind of calculated violence, takes down multiple opponents with a fluidity that belies his power, incorporating close-quarter combat with precision shooting. He moves like a dancer, each movement economical and deadly. Hattie, holding her own, is surprisingly adept with a firearm, proving that badasses run in the Shaw family. Andraco, bless his cotton socks, mostly just screams and tries to avoid getting hit, which honestly is a perfectly valid strategy. The sounds of the battle are deafening. Automatic weapon fire, the metallic clatter of shell casings, the grunts of exertion, and the occasional explosive decompression as one of Hobbs' punches sends a goon flying through a reinforced wall. They battle their way through corridors, up stairwells, and across a dizzying array of catwalks. The constant thud of boots and the sharp reports of gunfire their unwelcome soundtrack. Brixton, with his enhanced strength and speed, is a constant, terrifying threat. He engages Shaw in a brutal hand-to-hand fight, each punch and kick landing with the force of a small hammer. The whoosh of Shaw dodging, the thud of a blocked blow, the grunt of effort, it's a raw, visceral confrontation. Meanwhile, Hobbs is taking on a squad of heavily armed men, using anything and everything as a weapon, including a fire extinguisher and, at one point, a very angry microwave. The scene is a chaotic masterpiece, each hero playing to their strengths, a symphony of destruction. They finally make it to their escape vehicle, a heavily armored Etion transport, only for Brixton to corner them on a rooftop. The tension is palpable, the wind whipping around them as they stand on the precipice of a skyscraper. Brixton, in his sleek, form-fitting suit, declares himself Black Superman, a rather self-aggrandizing title, but his abilities certainly back it up. He taunts Shaw, reminding him of their shared past and how he designed Brixton. This fuels Shaw's rage, adding a personal vendetta to the global mission. A dramatic confrontation ensues, culminating in a daring escape involving a massive rope and a skyscraper rappel that would make any stunt coordinator sweat. The whoosh of the rope cutting through the air, the frantic scrambling, the desperate yells, it's a heart-stopping sequence. They manage to get away, but not without further damage to their egos and their ride, leaving Brixton seething on the rooftop, promising retribution. With Professor Andraco in tow and the knowledge of the Chernobyl facility, the trio realize they need a place to regroup, repair, and prepare for the final confrontation. Shaw knows a guy, or rather his old bunker in the English countryside.
It's a surprisingly high-tech hidden lair, complete with advanced computers, weapons, and, naturally, a fully stocked bar. The brief calm before the storm allows for more banter, more planning, and a few more jabs at each other's expense. Hobbs is still trying to wrap his head around Shaw's complex network of contacts and hidden assets. "You seriously have a secret lair?" Hobbs deadpans, looking around with a mixture of suspicion and grudging respect. Shaw, of course, just smirks. However, Etion technology is advanced, and they're quickly tracked down again. The bunker is compromised, leading to another explosive confrontation. This time it's a contained battle within the close quarters of the bunker. The thud of heavy boots on metal floors, the whiz of energy weapons, and the clang of wrenches, yes, wrenches, hitting skulls fill the air. Our heroes, now a slightly more cohesive unit, fight side by side. Hobbs, with his raw power, creates openings, while Shaw, with his precision, exploits them. Hattie, surprisingly effective in close-quarter combat, uses her agility to her advantage, ducking and weaving through the fray. Andreyko, again, mostly stays out of the way, providing anxious updates on the virus's progression inside Hattie. The bunker, a testament to Shaw's meticulous planning, is soon a shambles, wires sparking, alarms blaring, the air thick with smoke and the smell of ozone. They narrowly escape, the bunker collapsing behind them in a shower of sparks and falling debris, cementing the understanding that nowhere is truly safe from Etion. Realizing they need a stronghold, a place where they can fight on their own terms, Hobbs has an idea. A wild, desperate idea. Samoa, his ancestral home. This is where the movie truly leans into the family aspect of the Fast and Furious franchise, albeit with a Hobbs-sized twist. They charter a private plane, a moment that gives us more comedic gold as Hobbs and Shaw argue over seat assignments and who gets the window. Belong Flight gives them a chance to hash out their plan, and Draco explains the intricacies of the extraction device, emphasizing that it's extremely delicate and requires a massive power source, which coincidentally, a small island probably doesn't have an abundance of. Landing in Samoa is like stepping into a different world. The lush greenery, the sounds of the ocean, the vibrant culture, it's a stark contrast to the concrete jungles they've been fighting in. Hobbs is greeted by his entire extended family, a joyous, boisterous, and overwhelmingly massive group. They're introduced to his mother, who, despite her small stature, clearly runs the entire operation with an iron fist and a loving heart. The immediate welcome is warm, filled with traditional songs and the deep thrum of drums, a stark juxtaposition to the high-tech, deadly world they just left. Shaw and Hattie are initially overwhelmed, Hattie finding a surprising sense of comfort amidst the chaos, while Shaw, ever the reserved Brit, struggles to navigate the affectionate, physical nature of the Hobbs clan. He looks like a fish out of water, trying to maintain his suave demeanor while being hugged by what feels like 50 people. Hobbs, in his element, explains the situation to his family, and to a man and woman, they rally to his side. The spirit of aloha, Hawaiian for family, is strong, and it's a powerful moment, showing that even the biggest, baddest federal agent needs his roots. The Samoan setting provides a much-needed breath of fresh air, literally and figuratively. They need to figure out how to power Andreyko's device for the extraction. Hobbs' family surprisingly has some rather ingenious solutions involving old car batteries, generators, and a whole lot of creative wiring. The island, while beautiful, quickly becomes a makeshift fortress. Hobbs' relatives, who are all apparently skilled mechanics, farmers, or just generally tough individuals, begin setting up defenses, rigging booby traps, and preparing for an inevitable invasion. The sounds of metal clanging, generators humming, and the distant roar of the ocean become the backdrop to their preparations. There's a particular scene where Hobbs is teaching his family how to use a makeshift slingshot to launch projectiles, and it's both ridiculous and genuinely heartwarming. Shaw, initially skeptical of their primitive methods, slowly begins to realize the strength in their unity and their deep connection to the land. Hattie, seeing the warmth of Hobbs' family, opens up a little, finding a temporary sanctuary. This pause also allows for some crucial character development, particularly between Hobbs and Shaw, who are starting to grudgingly respect each other's unique strengths, though the insults haven't completely stopped. The calm, of course, doesn't last. Brixton, true to his word, locates them. His Etion forces descend on Samoa in a fleet of heavily armed helicopters, a thunderous roar ripping through the peaceful island air. The final battle begins, and it's an absolute spectacle. The first wave of attackers drops in, and the battle explodes. The Hobbs family, armed with an array of traditional weapons mixed with modern firearms, meets them head-on. It's a clash of cultures, old versus new, family loyalty against corporate-backed super soldiers.
The beach turns into a war zone, the sounds of tribal war cries mixing with the sharp crack of automatic rifle fire and the rhythmic thud of bodies hitting the sand. Hobbs leads the charge, a force of nature, using his sheer size and strength to devastate Etion soldiers. He grabs a heavy chain, probably used for mooring a boat, and wields it like a weapon. The metallic clamp.
The final confrontation with Brixton is a brutal personal affair. Hobbs and Shaw tag team him, their combined strength and skill finally giving them an edge against a seemingly invincible Black Superman. Hobbs delivers devastating blows, his immense power rattling Brixton, the thump of his fists like sledgehammers. Shaw, quicker and more agile, exploits openings, landing precise strikes that exploit Brixton's weaknesses. The two men, once bitter enemies, now fight as a well-oiled machine, their insults becoming less venomous and more like playful banter, a sign of their burgeoning respect. The sound of their blows echoing against Brixton's enhanced body is relentless, a testament to their combined determination. Meanwhile, Hattie is frantically working with Andrico on the extraction device, the whirring growing louder, the glowing lights flashing with increasing urgency. The EMP is activated, sending a massive electromagnetic pulse across the island. The sound is a sharp, almost silent whoosh, followed by an eerie, sudden cessation of all modern technology. Etion's helicopters fall silent, their engines sputtering and dying as they plunge from the sky. Brixton's enhancements flicker, his strength and speed wavering, giving Hobbs and Shaw the opening they need. With Brixton's tech compromised, his superpower fades, leaving him vulnerable. The final blows land with satisfying force, a culmination of their efforts. Brixton is finally defeated, collapsing in a heap, his self-proclaimed invincibility shattered. In the aftermath, the extraction device successfully removes the snowflake virus from Hattie, a moment of profound relief for the trio and the entire Hobbs family. The island, though scarred by battle, hums with a renewed sense of peace. The team, battered but victorious, watches as the last traces of Etion are dealt with. Hobbs and Shaw share a rare moment of genuine respect, their verbal jobs now tinged with genuine camaraderie. They've saved the world, forged an unlikely friendship, and proved that even the biggest egos can work together for a common cause. The movie ends with various heartwarming and hilarious post-credit scenes. Hobbs is back in Los Angeles watching Sam play football, but this time with a new appreciation for the simple moments. Shaw visits his mother in prison, having a wonderfully sarcastic conversation about her escape plans, hinting at future adventures for the Shaw family. There's even a moment where Hobbs tries to prank Shaw with a phone call, further solidifying their newfound, albeit still antagonistic, friendship. These scenes leave us with a smile, a promise of more ridiculous adventures, and the knowledge that the world is safe, at least for now, thanks to two men who really hate each other. As the dust settles and the roar of engines fades into the distance, we're left with a profound sense of the power of unity, even among the most disparate individuals. It's a testament to the idea that family, whether by blood or forged in fire, is our greatest strength, capable of overcoming seemingly insurmountable odds. The journey of Hobbs and Shaw reminds us that sometimes the greatest adversaries can become the most unexpected allies, and that heroism often wears a smirk and a tactical vest. It's about finding common ground in the face of global threats, and realizing that sometimes the best way to save the world is to stop bickering and start brawling. Hobbs and Shaw is an absolute blast, a perfectly self-aware spectacle that knows exactly what it is and delivers it with unapologetic swagger. It's a riotous spin-off that proves the Fast and Furious universe still has plenty of gas in the tank, driven by the electrifying chemistry of its two leads. A pure, unadulterated dose of popcorn fun that leaves you grinning and wanting more.
Miss Piggy.
That's a low blow, don't...
I wanna go through time. It looks out to the fame, looks around and looks him with time.
Look at that cat.
Let's get out of
Grandma. It's good to be home, Musso.
God, I feel immediately better just talking in a secure asset vault, but we're deep insides. But this one, it's so gross. The point is...
Hey, Locke. This is Sam.
Sam? Exactly like your dad.
Son.
I know, but I need to speak to...
Tell me you took care of the snowflake.
Keeper, listen, hey, real talk?